This is one common mistake for every defender in Rainbow Six Year 11 Season 2. So if your homie is playing very selfish on an operator, then make sure you watch this video. Timestamps are below. Swap to your operator main, like the video, subscribe if you're new, and let's get into it. And I'm giving away a free battle pass every video to a random person below. All you have to do is like, subscribe, and comment what you like the most about the new season. Good luck and enjoy the video. A common mistake I see with Sentry players is they're not running the right loadout. They'll be running like commando with like no shotgun, no rotate. So you should run at least the M870 with the C7 or the TCSG, which with whatever secondary you want. Mainly the right loadouts you should go is just depending on what your team needs, but a deployable shooter nitrocell easily are S tier gadgets, so just bring those. Otherwise it's just kind of like you just need to bring what your team needs. Maybe impacts for shields, but actually have a tailored loadout that you can make site setups with and not just for random C4s below. A common mistake I see with smoke is that people are hoarding their smokes too late. So let's say like I'm smoked behind here, right? And then like they're the last few seconds here and they don't really be using the smokes even early on in the round too to prevent a rush. Let's say like, oh, someone's like just killed our back guy Aqua, so we can just throw a smoke here to prevent him from getting on any different angle. Not only smoke off angles, but you guys should just be using them a little bit earlier. Don't be afraid to use them early. Don't just try to save them all. No smokes thrown is wasted smokes. A common mistake with castle that we all know is stop castling and interfering your teammates' rotations. So let's say if I did this right here, right? Now, if I did this and I had a player playing here, right? And if this was full reinforced off and he's getting pushed out, if he's gonna try to run back to site, he's gonna be very, very mad. You might get TK in the next round. So don't be castling your teammates off, even if you might not expect it. Like you probably are by just messing up the rotation back to site. So if anything, use the castle more for like an area you're not gonna hold or a window cutoff. That's a lot better than just trying to fortify the site. A common mistake with Mute I see what people do is they think that Mute is wall denial, when in reality, he really only just counters Hibana, but Thermite can just rappel up to most walls and do it above him. Ace doesn't counter him. Mav obviously doesn't counter. So stop using mute jammers on the main wall. Mainly just use it for doors, for information, and also countering Dokubi, Deimos, and Snake. I don't think he counters Lion anymore. He doesn't counter Grim anymore because those are just self-activated gadgets. But if it detonates from the hand, he will deny it. It's more of a transmitter denial jam rather than a whole gadget itself. Even air jabs don't get jammed by it anymore. So keep in mind that mute is more for a situational counter rather than a whole wall denial. A common mistake I see with pulls is that you are downstairs too long. You're trying to chase that C4 below too long when they keep moving around, and then eventually you'll probably end up missing that C4. If you can do it in less than a minute, sure, go for it. But if you stay downstairs too long, you're just going to be leaving presence off of site. A common mistake I see with Doc is that you are too selfish with your heals. If anything, you're like, oh, nah, bro, you only lost 20 HP. Well, that low key could save you, but you should definitely be not using them all on yourself. So look around. People who, you know, this is the universal heal me language right here. So if someone's knifing you, they're not just trying to kill you and, you know,
10 seconds left.
London simulator you, they want to heal. So be wary. It's not that hard to play Doc. Just heal your teammates. A common mistake I see a lot of people doing with Rook, and this is actually a very, very common one, is playing him. Stop playing Rook. He's the worst defender in the game. Let me bleed out. Oh my God. Let me go to the next round, bro. I'm stuck here. I'm stuck here for 40 seconds and I have to watch this shit. Get me to a gas pipe, bro. You know what? The common mistake with Rook is staying alive too long. Good. That's how you play Rook. Rook can save your life. No. I don't want to hear this, bro. I don't want to hear, oh, but the self-revive option. The self-revive option. It can save you rounds. No. I'm going to crash out if I keep talking about Rook. All right, next. A tip I see with Kapkan is that people put too many Kapkans down on one door. 2 is more than enough. Honestly, 1 is okay too, because not only you just get them down to 50 HP, you make them easier to kill, and also there's more of a chance of other people hitting it. So I would not recommend putting more than 3 Kapkan traps. Trying to get an insta kill is honestly not worth it unless you're literally watching only one door. But spread out your Kapkans because they're good information as well. A common mistake I see with the Tachanka is the same one as smoke, is that you're just hoarding your fires too much. Actually use them more. You have more fires than you think, and you can deny more time than you think as well. One fire lasts like 7 seconds, I believe. Also, don't spam too many in one spot. 1 or even 2 is enough. If you like, for sure, you mess up the lineup or something like that. But don't be stacking your fires too early in the round. A common mistake I see with Jager is that you're not actively playing with the ADSs. If you're just kind of using them as a passive, you know, gadget, it could work if you're playing near it, but if it's on a door like this, it's not going to serve much purpose later in the round. Putting them actively where people are going to be playing, if I'm playing in Barista here, like this would not be a bad spot if the, you know, projectiles are coming from this way. Or even if I have a person playing a shield or like even a clash, you know, putting an ADS somewhere where they can be not easily shot, but they can also like still have a line of sight on any projectile coming their way. A common mistake I see with Bandit is not knowing how to Bandit trick. You know, leaving them on the wall is sometimes okay if you have a Tubarao, but sometimes you will actively need to know how to juggle them. So even though they are pretty easy to shoot off or get grenaded, you just need to be wary of that. But learn how to Bandit trick. So always hold a Bandit out when you're on the wall, so that way you kind of like get the timing right. So if they EMP the wall, you kind of want to also pre-fire the Bandit. If you pre-fire the Bandit, that means you can turn it on even if the EMP while you're mid-information. Learn how to Bandit trick. If you don't, that's a big mistake with Bandit. A common mistake I see with Frost is putting shields on doorways with Frost mats like this. It's 2026. Stop doing this, because 1, attackers can just use a shield against you like this. 2, when you do it, you're vulnerable and you can't really, you know, maneuver. You're gonna get shot very easy. And 3, everyone has the habit of just looking down on a shield. So just pick it up, put the shield for more map control. Let's say if I wanted to hold yellow, like this wouldn't be a bad shield right here. And the frost mats can be used on like top of a staircase, midway of a staircase, wherever it may be. You definitely want to be a little bit more cautious when using her. A common mistake with Valkyrie is that your cams are too shallow and don't really have a purpose. Now, if I just put one in sight, like right here, like this, yeah, this could be useful for like late round sight information, but you should use at least 2 of them outside of sight too. So like you can even put them under areas where like people wouldn't really be seeing them much. If you put them in the corner of a room in the open, it's like people kind of like know Valkyrie cameras are always in the corner. So definitely putting them in more of a discreet area, like here by the drone hole. This could be really good for like weapons, you know, for this kind of information on a certain area. So that way, if you don't have a teammate watching every somewhere, dead teammates can watch crucial areas, and this could fill gaps in your defense a lot more, rather than just trying to like, you know, put them randomly where in sight. A common mistake I see with Caviera is that you are just off-site hiding way too long. You're trying to find the perfect flank. If anything, you need to be putting fear into the defense or the attack. You should be like almost the first one they try to go hunt. But yeah, if you're not getting action in the first like minute of the round as Cav, like you are either gotta have a really good plan, or if you're just too passive, it's basically just a 4v5. So don't try to be too passive with Cav. There's no such thing as a perfect flank, only just wasting time as a roamer. But hey, if you can go for a good interrogation, go for it. A common mistake I see with Echo is that you're just getting your drones shot too early. You're trying to like move them around, stun the enemy a lot, but just know that they can be good like information if left alone. Know that the fan is a little loud, but make sure you just kind of use your yokais almost like Valkyrie cameras, like areas that you might have gaps in. You can always save one for plant, but the odds of people planting in ranked is honestly like less than 50% at sometimes. Definitely be using your yokais just to cover gaps. You don't have to be too picky of where you put them, but as long as because they're a loud fan sound. Spreading out your echoes is very key for using them as like a flank watch, not only just for trying to annoy people. A common mistake I see with Mira is that you're putting Miras in areas where you can't really hold very long, because they can just smack these Miras and use them against you. Like for example, this wouldn't be the best Mira, because if they're just here, they can just walk up on the far side and punch it, and then I'm left with a hole that is just used against me. So make sure you guys are using your Miras in far back places where you can kind of prevent it from getting punched, for like obviously informational ones. If it's an aggressive Mira, like on the breach, sure, it's okay being popped, but don't expect Miras to be lasting forever. Always keep in mind that they can be used against you. A common mistake I see with Lesion is that people will just put Lesion mines in the middle of the doorway when, okay, so this one just doesn't work. But yeah, they just put it in that middle of the doorway. In reality, it's very easy to shoot. So you want to put them on the side of a doorway like a Kapkan, and this will get at least 50% of the doorway. And obviously, any operator is going to want to run in the middle, and then they will hit it. But it makes them a lot harder to see. A common mistake I see with Ela is your Elas are too shallow. So, for example, like this Ela probably won't go off until maybe like the last 40-30 seconds left of the round, which is still okay. But they're very loud and they concuss people. So Elas would be better for watching like a flank or like watching like a backstab or even pocketing the Elas. You know, we're in a shield meta. So if you're approached with Monty or Blitz, you know, you're getting chased by them. Place one as they come off, and then when they run into it, they will be exposed in the head and feet or chest. So always pock an Ela mine just in case. A common mistake I see with Vigil is that people shoot the drone even when they have the scanner on. If a drone walks past you, you need to like be okay with it, like knowing your general location. But if you shoot it too early, it's the same thing as if they were to drone you normally. So if you leave that scanner on, it literally like forces them to face check you or rejoin you a second time. That wastes a lot of time. And obviously turn it on for when you're getting countered by Deimos, Snake, and Dokkaebi, or not Dokkaebi, but just Deimos and Snake and Jackal. But Lion is a little bit weird. I actually don't think he counters Lion that well anymore unless you're like blatantly standing still with it on. But yeah, don't shoot drones too early. Like actually use the gadget correctly and make them push into you a blind face check. A common mistake I see with Maestro is that your cams are too shallow and inactive in sight. I would recommend running a Maestro cam, almost forcing them to get cleared. So you could like try to like, you know, get on hard to reach spots. Also, if you put them at the very top, they cannot get knifed. So when you put your Maestro cam up, there's no way they can destroy it. Also, you need to actively be playing them when they have a Brava. They will bring Brava against you. The only way to really counter Brava is shooting the drone. So if I can destroy the Brava drone before it hacks me, I can deny it. So put your Maestro cams more in outside of the site in 90-degree angles, so this way you can see more and shoot more drones. Now, a common mistake for Alibi, it's honestly really hard to mess her up just because she's just a regular ass gadget, and the gadget is honestly one of the worst in the game. However, there's a new elite skin that actually has different prismas, but even then, just run around, get kills, don't play passive, don't try to do this BS sometimes, but you know, common mistake with her is honestly just playing her sometimes when your team can use more utility. Otherwise, she's okay. Have fun with her. A common mistake I see with Clash is that you let the enemy get too close to you. If they get to like here, you're pretty much done for because the shock will only shock them for so long, but you want to keep your distance a lot more. Also, stop getting your shield destroyed super fast. You know, don't just place it down and then never pick it up. Make sure you're always keeping your shield alive as long as possible, but for the love of God, do not let him get close. If he gets right here and I try putting it down, I'm dead. So you need to make sure you back up a lot more and put it down before he gets close to you. A common mistake I see with Cade is not being more mindful of your K claws. So this could be like the position of them. If I put them just straight on the wall, it's more of a risk to get them callied. But if I put them very high up here, like you always want to just have the tip of it touching the reinforcement. This is a lower chance of them getting destroyed by Callie or even being missed by an EMP. But always get like the most important wall of a site and then the hatch of the most like frustrating hatch to get opened up. So put it on the side, something like that. So that way you guys have a good even chance of keeping the site closed. Just be more mindful of your K claws. A common mistake with Mozzie is just the same with Lesion, putting them in the middle of a doorway. You always want to put them in the safest spot possible, like on a side of a door or even on top of a drone hole, so that way they can't go above it. But use them as like actual info denial where drones cannot go. And if you get a drone, make sure you actually like take it before they try to shoot it and put it somewhere where you have good information, but just be a little more mindful of where your Mozzies are. Otherwise, it's very hard to mess them up. Just make sure you always put them on the side of the door, not the middle. And if you have a drone, put it in a spot where your teammates can use it for later information. A common mistake with Warden is not that you're not using the glasses more often, but you're not reinforcing enough. Make rotates for the team. Stop sitting around watching TikTok and scrolling. You have nothing to do with your setup. go reinforce. That is the biggest common mistake with Warden. Make rotates, reinforce. Actually do something helpful for the team. Go get hatches. A common mistake with Goyo is popping the Goyos too early. If you pop the Goyos too early, then not only you like allow them with no pressure towards the end, but it's also just a lot safer and you don't have to watch the angles easy. They'll definitely stall it out. The chances of them running through is very low, so stop popping the Goyos too early. Save them for the late round. A common mistake I see with Wamai is that you kind of just put them on random doorways. Now, sometimes if it's a popular door like this is okay, but you want to actually use them for denying ace charges or even Zophia's or any kind of like important utility. So you can sneak one like here, because even if they're like right here and they try to throw something through the breach, you can actually like pick it up sometimes. So don't be afraid to put your Wamai gadgets like further outside of the site where you think they'll be playing a lot, because sometimes it will catch them off guard instead of just only putting them in sight and then having the gadget that gets blown up destroy everything around it. Be more creative and put it more near the breach if you're playing Wamai. A common mistake I see with Oryx is picking him in the first place, similar to Rook. He brings no utility to the team unless you're trying to play someone for rotates, or obviously like with ankles above for a roam in high range and you know what you're doing. Don't play Oryx just to run around. Like sometimes you just need to bring more of a utility operator to the team. But yeah, it's very hard to mess up Oryx because he's already an awful operator in the first place. A common mistake I see with Melusi is that your Melusis are too shallow in sight. If it's right here, this is going to do nothing. By the time they walk in here, they see everything of sight. Instead, put the Melusis further out of sight. They have a large sound queue and radius. So if you were to put Melusi band here, like right here is okay. And it's not only far away from where I'll be playing, like over here, or even over here, I'll even put it further back. But this way I have time to react and also even fight someone who's fighting in the Melusi gadget. So stop putting them so shallow inside, move them further out. A common mistake I see with Aruni is the same exact thing. The Aruni gates are too shallow in sight. Like if it's on this door between the sites, it's not really gonna do much. You need to make sure you're at least putting them on a site entrance or even a site window to protect you not only from a sound queue, but also from a free hop-in on you as well. So use Aruni gates as like a, little insurance on a Windows entrance. Also, if the Aruni gate is too close on a site door and you're trying to play there, then the gate will turn on and off and it will give away a person's position if they're close on it. So be wary of that. A common mistake for Thunderbird, I will say the mistake is just playing her in the first place. But this season, she actually kind of has a role. If you're going to get hunted by a Dokkaebi, you just let your phone blow up and then get healed. Otherwise, yeah, she can make rotates and all that kind of stuff, but bro, you're better off just not running a Thunderbird. A common mistake with Thorn is the same as any other trap operator. They are too shallow in sight. I mean, this one is not that bad. It's really hard to mess up a Thorn line because it's like they're almost an insta kill of death and provide a large sound queue. So if anything, I would recommend putting your Thorn mines a lot further out and get creative with them. So if I put them on the sign right here, it actually is pretty hard to see them. So this could get them right as well. But don't only put them on side doors. Don't be afraid to put them on like sound queue for outside doors too if I'm playing here. And if this one goes off, it'll help out a lot. So don't just put them only for sight, spread them out. A common mistake I see with Azami is limiting the amount of angles that you can use. For example, if I use an Azami like this, I am forced to only peek on the right side. People kind of know to pre-aim on the side of Akibas for the headshot. So if you kind of play like this, you're a very easy kill. If anything, you want to use a Azami as like an open free angle. So if I were to put it right here, I can swing left and right a lot easier without being more predictable. Is that your sister? Yo, ban that guy, bro. A common mistake I see with Solis is you're not hitting the hot spots too often. For example, like if you want to go for a run out, like you can look for claymores, look for anyone on cameras. Yeah, you could try to deny the plant, but by the time you try to like look at it right here, it's going to be a little challenging. So make sure you're playing a Solis actually pretty aggressive. A passive Solis, you're not going to find anything. You're just going to find a ton of drones in sight and not act off any of the information. So act off the information you find off Solis. Play more aggressive with her. Stop playing like a bitch with her. A common mistake I see with Fenrir, I mean, it's really hard to mess up a Fenrir mod. Like anywhere you put it and you activate it, it has such a large radius that anyone getting hit by it will be like affected pretty the same. The only thing I would say is that I see a lot of people not have one safe for late game. So Save a Fenrir for late game most of the time, and I will guarantee you that will make defense a little bit easier. The biggest common mistake I see with Tubarao is you're not actively playing on the wall early in the round. You need a Bandit or a Cade, especially in today's meta. Tubarao has a DMR, which is really good, but his gadget is like a win condition. If you get the wall closed, you basically almost win the round. Make sure you're like actively close to the wall, because the second the EMP goes off, you need to get the timing down right after the EMP, or else you could possibly miss it. So make sure you're not AFK, you know, jerking off with Tubarao. Actually go on to the wall and put your tubs down correctly. A common mistake I see with Skopos is making sure that your droid is in a good spot. So let's say if a safe spot could be like, we have a camera server and no one's pushing the server. This would not be that bad of a spot right here, because once I'm done on the roam, I've taken some HP. Actually, just know when to switch. I feel like being greedy on the switch as well is like, oh, I want to try to get one more kill, or I'm still full HP. But like, you don't have to wait till your first robot is damaged. Like, if your team genuinely needs help on site, switch back for a little bit and then save the other one for a later flank. But be more flexible with how you switch your robots, and don't just do it just for the sake of like, oh, my team needs help on site. I think the biggest common mistake I see with Denari is people put too many Denaris on one doorway. Like, there is no need to make some pentagon rotate and strategy here. Realistically, one grenade and all this is going away. So I actually think maybe 2 max is good. 2 max is good. Otherwise, you want to kind of use them for other spots too. So this way, it's just you just cover more areas of the site. But obviously, it just depends on how creative you want to get. Don't think, oh, I'm going to get a multi-kill using all of them. That's like putting all your Kapkan traps on one door. It's not. The likelihood of it being hit is really low. That is my common mistake of every single defender. If this video did help you, leave a like, subscribe for more R6 tips. I'll see you guys in the next one.